The doctor said the words slowly, like he was afraid they might break me if he said them too fast. Life-threatening. Immediate surgery. No delays. I nodded like a polite stranger, the way men my age do when the world tilts, but we don't want anyone to see us sway. My first thought wasn't fear. It wasn't even death. It was my family. I reached for my phone with fingers that felt thick and unfamiliar, like they belonged to someone else. My daughter, Claire, answered on the third ring. I could hear music behind her voice, laughter, glasses clinking. Dad, can I call you back? We're in the middle of something. I swallowed. No, sweetheart. I'm at the hospital. The doctor says I need surgery tonight. Silence for half a breath. Then she sighed. Tonight? Dad, you know it's Mark's promotion party. His whole firm is here. We planned this for weeks. I smiled even though she couldn't see it. Old habits. Of course you did. I just thought you should know. She hesitated, and for a moment I hoped. Then she said, Can it wait till tomorrow? That was the moment something small cracked inside me. Not loudly, just enough to let the cold in. I called my son next. Voicemail. I texted my sister. She replied with a thumbs-up emoji and a ha-ha-ha, thinking I was joking like I always did. I sat alone on the edge of the hospital bed, staring at the curtain that smelled faintly of disinfectant and old fabric. I remember when Claire was little, how she used to cling to my leg when she was scared, how I'd lift her up and say, Aw, it's okay, Daddy's here. Funny how time rearranges love. A nurse came in and asked if someone was coming to stay with me. I said yes without thinking. It felt easier than saying no. The clock on the wall ticked louder than it should have. My phone buzzed once more. A photo from Claire, her smiling beside Mark, champagne in hand, balloons behind them. Proud of him, Dad. We'll visit you tomorrow. I stared at the screen until my eyes burned. Then I turned the phone face down. For the first time in years, I cried without wiping my face. Quiet, shaking, exhausted crying. The kind that comes when you realize you matter less than a party. The surgery went well, they said. That's what people always say when they don't know what else to offer. I woke up hours later with a dry mouth and a heavier heart. No family in the room. Just the steady beep of a monitor and a nurse adjusting my four. She smiled kindly, the way strangers do when they sense you're alone. Your people will be here soon, she said. I nodded again. Polite. Days passed. Claire came once briefly, smelling like perfume and stress. She talked about Mark's boss, about networking, about how exhausting hosting had been. She patted my hand and said, You're strong, Dad. You always are. I wanted to laugh. I wanted to say, ha ha ha. You have no idea how tired strength can make a man. My son sent flowers with a card that said, Get well soon. No signature beyond his name. My sister never showed. Lying there, I had too much time to think. About birthdays I never missed. Bills I paid quietly. The way I always made myself smaller, so everyone else could feel comfortable. I realized something uncomfortable in that bed. I had taught them how to treat me. When I was discharged, I went home alone. The house felt different, like it knew something I didn't want to admit. I made soup, sat at the table, and listened to the hum of the refrigerator. That night, I opened a drawer I hadn't touched in years. Old documents. My will. Insurance papers. Photos of a younger man with hopeful eyes. I felt calm, not angry, just clear. Over the next weeks, I stopped calling first. I stopped explaining myself. When Claire invited me to another gathering at Mark's place, I declined politely. I'm focusing on my health, I said. She sounded relieved. That hurt more than anger ever could. I started walking every morning, slowly at first. I met people who asked my name and actually waited for the answer. One woman at the park laughed at my terrible joke, a warm, easy laugh that reminded me I was still human. Life, I realized, doesn't end when people choose others over you. It just asks you who you're willing to choose next. 3 months later, Claire finally noticed the distance. She called, her voice softer. Dad, you've been quiet. I looked out the window at the late afternoon sun, at the leaves shifting gently. "I've been living," I said. She didn't understand at first. I didn't explain. Some lessons arrived too late for lectures. I updated my will, changed my emergency contact, planned a small trip I'd always postponed. When Mark lost his job unexpectedly, they called me in a panic. I listened. I didn't rush. I didn't rescue. I said, "I hope things work out," and meant it kindly. After the call, my hand shook, but not with guilt, with freedom. One evening, sitting alone but not lonely, I realized I wasn't abandoned. I had simply stopped standing in a place where I wasn't valued. I whispered to the quiet room, "Oh, look at you, still standing." I thought about the hospital bed, the ticking clock, the photo of the party. That pain had not destroyed me. It had sharpened me. I didn't leave my family in anger. I left them behind in growth. And as the night settled in, I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Peace.